did have one question here. How much dry fire do you do weekly or daily? And do you have a particular method of approaching and doing your own dry fire?
So I don't have. Let me grab something here. I don't have. I don't have. I guess I do in some degree, but I have this book right here from Steve Anderson, Refinement and
Mm-hmm.
Repetition. I've also got a Ben Steger book on dry fire that's really good. But my base is out of here. These are in my opinion. He's got three books. I've got all three of them, but I think for me, my average routine of dry fire is drills 1 through 12. I do them not only from a like a USPSA rig, but I also do them from concealment sometimes. And it depends. What am I focusing on? So as an instructor, I've got different goals. If I'm teaching a class that's going to be from a certain holster, then I'll incorporate that holster. If I'm teaching concealed carry stuff or covert carry stuff, then I'll move more towards that. It's a little bit difficult for me to progress in some areas because I'm constantly changing holsters, and depending on who I'm teaching, I may have to change guns. But in general, um, that is my go-to. That is my go-to. Um, I think there's nothing wrong with, like, I've got Ben Steger's book and I'll do some drills from there every now and then if I'm trying to get focused more on a match mode, if I have a match that I want to try to get better at. I shoot matches not to the extent of what I'd like to. I'd like to try to get into like some regional and state level matches, but if I'm trying to get to a certain level, I may take some drills from Ben's book. But in general, it's going to be Steve Anderson's book. And then the other thing is that even though those are designed for pistol, you can use those same drills. If I'm teaching a carbine class, then I'll do the same thing. But instead of drawing from the holster, I'll do from a low ready or a high ready. And then I'll do my turns, I'll do my reloads and stuff like that, and try to, get more prepared for the carbine class doing that. But that's pretty much it. If there's something specific, like say, for example, if I'm doing carbine, I like to go from standing, kneeling, and prone, then I may
Mm-hmm.
do something, if I'm teaching a carbine class, may do some of those prior to the class coming up so that I'm a little bit more, not so much as rusty, but, a little bit more on it for that.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I think that I could take that book right there and pretty much come up with great other ideas just off the book alone.
That
So,
book
but
came
yeah,
out. How long has that book been out? Quite a while, hasn't it, Mike?
yeah, yeah. Let's see if there's a date on this thing in here. And the other thing is that if you buy one, don't let anyone borrow it. Okay, because I've had like five of these. So so I have to constantly keep buying a new one every time I let somebody borrow it. But I've written so much in this one that I'm hoping that nobody will take it. Um, I don't, I don't see a date on this.
I wanna say it's like 2010 maybe, I can't remember for sure.
2003.
3!
Yeah,
Oh, a lot
yeah,
longer than I thought.
yeah,
Yeah, and still
and
relevant. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, very, very relevant.
Mhm.
When you have guys like Steve Anderson, who became a grandmaster in less than a year, and guys like Ben Steger, who's come up and done the same thing in less than a year, you want to take what those guys put out, and you probably want to listen to them.
Mhm.
And I've done that. When I do that, like when I sat there and listened to what Steve had to say, and I took 3 to 4 months and I focused on dry fire. In less than a year, I went from B class to master class. So I think
Less
that's,
than a year, wow.
yeah, yeah. And, but I'd been shooting for a while, I just wasn't
Mhm.
progressing.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing is that people, they don't realize there's so much great information out there. Um, and even if you don't shoot competition, these are great
Yeah.
drills to do. We have folks who come to our classes, and will recommend the book. And then next thing you know, like somebody sent me a video of a guy, and I'm like, man, this guy's burning it down. Like, holy cow, this is awesome. I go, he looks familiar. And they're like, he should. He's been to like three of our classes. I'm like, oh yeah. And
Oh,
next thing you know, it's what were you doing? He's like, man, he goes, I bought that book and started dry firing. And now I see videos of him shooting matches and he's crushing it at matches. And it's like,
that's
wow, this is
awesome.
this is awesome. I'm scared to shoot with the guy, to tell you the truth. But
That is
but
awesome.
phenomenal, phenomenal, you know, when guys like that ask me about a match or something like that, I'll tell them, "Hey, this is where you go. This is what you do."
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely plenty of folks out there who are taking the information, using it, processing it, and getting better, amazingly better too.
You get out of it what you put into it, I suppose,
Well,
don't you? Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.